Hi everyone, and welcome to the Hawai'i Language Roadmap Student Resource Interviews. We hope you will find this interview series helpful in learning how to use your language skills moving forward from high school. And before I introduce our special guest, I would like to congratulate you all as honorees receiving your seal by literacy. That is a huge accomplishment, and we're excited for you as you continue your language learning journey. So now I would like to introduce our special guest, Lydia Chung. She is the Assistant Director of the Korean Language Flagship Center. So Lydia, I'm just gonna hopefully have a conversation and ask you a few questions, and hopefully this dialogue will be helpful to the students. So thank you again for joining us. And the first question I have is for students unfamiliar with the Korean Language Flagship Program or Center, can you give us some background and share what opportunities are associated with the program?
Yeah, sure. So the Korean Language Flagship Center, or KLFC, at the University of Hawaii is the first, and believe it's the largest Korean language center in the United States. We're dedicated to cultivating Korea specialists with professional level proficiency in Korea. So what our goal is to prepare American students to become capable of functioning as Korean professionals in their chosen academic or chosen professional careers. So at UH, we have two different programs, the undergraduate and the graduate levels. And we do collaborate with the high school programs, but at the moment, we don't have a dedicated program for high school students right now. Our program the undergraduate program consists of two parts, domestic and overseas. So our students will spend about 3 years at UH taking courses in Korean and taking their other courses that they have and participating in one-on-one tutoring with native Korean graduate students for 1 hour per week for every week they are in the program. They'll do tons of cultural activities throughout the year, learning the cultural components, and also participate in a couple of summer programs. So that includes either at UH or even in Korea for summer study abroad. Their final year that they're in our program, our students will be required to go to Korea, Seoul, Korea for 1 year and study at Korea University. And when they're at Korea University, students will be taking classes that are dedicated for Korean flagship students and also take domain classes that are related to their major or their interests. And also, and those will be taken with other native Korean college students. And also 2 times a week, they'll be participating in a professional internship closely related to their major or interests as well. So that's kind of the opportunities that we do offer for our students.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. It sounds intensive, but really enriching. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, I'm sure any language program is intensive,
Yeah.
but it is rewarding, right?
It is. Oh, we also have a lot of scholarship opportunities as well. So those that are interested in ROTC or having a career in the military, we have a special scholarship opportunity for them. But we also, and that's like a full ride almost. And then we also have a separate scholarship opportunities for military focused students as well.
Awesome. No, that's great to know. And then for majority of the students who are in the program, do you see a trend in kind of what careers or jobs they're looking for after graduation?
So we don't see, I guess, well, one main trend that we do see with our alumni is that a lot of them do choose to go the government route. So a lot of them end up working in the federal government related company or agency in the future. So we have a ton of alumni that live in the surrounding Washington, D.C. area. But also we have a lot of alumni that aren't into federal government work or anything like that. So we never encourage one particular major, but we do encourage that students do I guess concentrate in another area besides language, because we know that language will just enhance their career options. So we have a lot of students who are majoring in teaching or education, second language studies, medicine, law, political science, what have you. Yeah.
So all the students who are part of the program are kind of coming out with like a double major?
Many of them are.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. So it enhances kind of their capability and like their kind of prospects when looking for jobs.
Oh yeah, so we have many students who, just because of their language ability, they were, I guess, in their application process, they're given additional points during the interview process, and because of the language skills and the type of language that they actually concentrated in, they were able to get additional points and be hired over the other applicant. Mm-hmm.
That's great to hear. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I think you talked a little bit about this, but maybe if you have anything else to expand on, like how do students in the program use their Korean language skills throughout the program, as well as like in the community?
Oh yeah, so while they're in the program, our students will use their language skills in a variety of formats. I know in the past, some of our students have volunteered for the Hawaii International Film Festival. So we've been contacted several times to provide translators for their judges or just attendees that are Korean speakers. We've also had a couple of our classes translate for a couple brochures for the university. We've also had we were contacted to translate like warning signs for the city. I believe it was tourism related. And then many of our students will also volunteer for different speech festivals. In particular, the Mānoa Speech Festival is one of the bigger ones that we do volunteer at. And many of our students actually use their language in their own church community, but also when in their part-time jobs. I know a lot of our students have part-time jobs and they use their language all the time there. Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, no, that sounds really helpful. And it seems like there's a lot of different opportunities and volunteer opportunities.
Yes. Just another, I guess, example of this is we were recently contacted. Unfortunately, we weren't able to provide the assistance in time, but we were recently contacted by the DLIR to help translate like unemployment documents for the COVID-19. And, that just shows you how important it is to have that, type of skill. And yeah, so.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they reached out because that is important and to make sure it's
Right.
accessible and equitable.
Right,
So that's awesome,
exactly.
awesome to hear. And I don't know if this is beyond your scope, but for students who maybe are not in the program yet or who are interested over the summer looking for opportunities to volunteer and use their language, do you have any recommendations of like how to find these opportunities, or is it kind of word of mouth, or what's kind of the best strategy if there is one?
Well, I'm not sure about volunteer opportunities per se. I mean, you could always ask like any type of, nonprofit organization throughout the state. I think they're always looking for volunteers, no matter if you use your language or not. But I do know a lot of them do need language skills. But also, I think, if you're thinking about enhancing your language as well, sometimes you just want to, maintain your language skills. You can also contact the different community schools that are around the state as well. I know there's a robust Korean language community school association here. And so just by contacting them, that you'll be able to kind of take classes to maintain your language skills. Yeah, so I think there are many opportunities just seeking out. I think there are a little bit hard to find, but if anyone's interested, we're willing to connect them to those opportunities as well, as much as we can. So.
Cool, thank you. And do you have any advice to help students kind of leverage their language skills when they are applying for jobs or looking to kind of in that transition period?
Mm-hmm. So I think with a lot of resumes, I see a lot of resumes from like my students and stuff too. So a lot of times, one thing I'll notice is they'll put their language skills way at the end of their resume, just as like a one-liner. Hey, I can speak this language. But instead of doing that, I always recommend that students integrate their language skills throughout their resume, saying that I have, for instance, if you have sales skills, you can say sales capable of in English, Korean, or Chinese and what have you. And I think that's something that students can do, like kind of enhance their resume in a lot of ways and really seek out those jobs that are looking for the language skills and see which employers are valuing those skills. And that kind of shows you what kind of work culture that they have as well. So.
That's a great point. No, thank you about that for that. Definitely to echo that, I think also the students with their seal by literacy, like recognizing, like putting that on their resume and different components.
Right,
Yeah. So no, I think that's
right.
a great point of like adding your language skills in incorporating in the job descriptions or
Mm-hmm.
positions you've had in the past. So yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last question I had is, why do you think having a multilingual workforce is important for here in Hawaii and the greater US?
Mhm. I think it's extremely important for Hawaii to have a multilingual workforce. I think the last time I read somewhere, there's like, I believe it was like 1 in 4 in Hawaii speak another language than English at home. And that's a staggering number, it's a huge number. And for not just for like the private workforce, but also the public workforce, I think in order for us to be able to provide the necessary and equitable resources for everyone, I think it's really important. Um, in the private sector, for example, I have a really good example of this. One of my students, past students, he worked for a luxury brand, and every month he had the highest number of sales and also the highest gross number,
Mm.
of sales. And we asked him like, well, how was that possible? And he said it was because of his language skills. It's because he was able to not only reach out to, the English speakers and Korean speakers, but he's also able to reach out to, he was able to speak Japanese and Chinese. So he was never limited by his language to reach out to his customers. So whereas his other, coworkers were only limited to their one language. So that kind of shows you how important it is and how much it could enhance the economy as well, just by having, a additional language, and that's just a very, very small example. But I think, when it comes to like government services as well, we need, especially in times like this, like I just said, about the COVID-19 unemployment documents and stuff, it's like we need to have resources that are available in multi-languages so we can be able to provide equitable resources for everyone, not just English speakers. So yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for that example. I think it really does highlight the fact that like with our language skills, we are able to open the door and talk with so many more people and allow those people to feel more comfortable and feel a sense of belonging and kind of inclusion in that environment.
Right. And with those students, that do have the seal of biliteracy, they're already at that level where they're able to, provide those source resources and be able to offer that help, in all situations. I think it's commendable that they're able to get their language skills that high at such a young age, and they should continue to work on that as well. So,
Great. Well, thank you again so much for sharing kind of your wisdom and your advice, as well as a little bit about the program you represent. So we're really
thank you.
excited, and we hope in the future some of the CL Biliteracy awardees join the KLFC program and join campus. And yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, this was such a fun interview, and I do hope to see some future seal of biliteracy students in our program, and we look forward to working with them in the future. So
Cool. We'll
thank you
cross
so
fingers.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.